then each turn, like each time your turn comes around, at the beginning of your turn, it's called your upkeep, which is where you go and untap all your cards, unless something says otherwise, which is possible. But you go and untap all your cards, and so then you go into your draw phase and then main phase 2, or main phase 1, I mean. This is where you actually start playing the out stuff. Let's see what this message is. This is the third time he's asked this question. But yeah, there's so yeah, if it doesn't get destroyed by the time my turn comes around, I can then tap it, and well, I can tap let's see, I can tap. Well, I can use. It's not necessarily tap because you don't really tap mana, but you can tap for mana. Like, because you use lands, which is kind of your source of mana, among other things. Like, that's kind of what my mana ramping is using other things for sources of mana. Yeah, so you would tap, or you would like tap 4, or do something to get two. This would be 2 of each color of mana. So it's 10 mana total, 2 of each of the 5 colors, which is actually kind of hard to do, because it's like there are plenty of cards that will tap for like 10 mana or something like that, but this tend to be easier to do than this does, because like those would be like things with what's it called? Things with just like one color than just any color, so it's easier to get to. And it's still not even something that's easy to get to, I guess. It's a bad way of explaining it. But it's easier to, like it'd be easier to do than this, because this one you need 2 of each of the colors. So once you get that, you then tap the card that I'm talking about, and you destroy the card I'm talking about. Like, you sacrifice it, I guess is what it actually is. That's basically destroying it purposely. And once you do this, you get to choose an opponent, as long as it isn't countered in any way. There's no abilities countered or anything like that. Once you do this, you then choose a target opponent, and they lose the game. So it's like a two-way duel. That's actually like you would just win now because your opponent lost. It's force your opponent to lose, because you no longer have any opponents, you then win. But that one I've never actually gotten to use, because it's really hard to actually get to use. Because you need it in your hand, you need it to get it out on the battlefield, not destroyed, and you then wait for it to be untapped, and hopefully it won't be destroyed by that point. This is back where I was before, yep. Hopefully it won't get destroyed by that point. And then you need the mana, the 10 mana to actually activate it. And so it's despite how it seems, it's not actually that good, because you're very unlikely to actually be able to use this effect. In most cases, by the time this effect by the time you even get all the mana you need to do this, you would already have lost. In most cases, at least. So the game usually ends well before I can get doors to nothingness, which is what it's called. Then they have other cards that are like, I have a card that's has the ability of flying, which means an opponent's creature that doesn't have flying or the ability to reach can't actually block it. So they can have like millions of creatures, but if they don't have anything with flying or reach, they won't be able to stop it from hitting them directly. So they'll just fly over their head. And so this creature, and it has the effect, when this creature deals combat damage to a player, you can then play any spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. So, and basically anything that's not a land is a spell card. So you can play pretty much anything from your hand at that point. So it's just like get super expensive card out. And the thing is, well, it's actually you can cast, which is what it's called to play the spells. So, and And like, this is how it sounds with Doors of Nothing. You can't actually do that with that. You can play Doors of Nothing's out, but you still need the 10 mana otherwise to do that, because that's not something that happens from your hand. I also have various cards in there that are called, I have a ability called, what's it called? I keep forgetting what this is called because I keep mixing it up with other names. It's called, wow, let's see now. Yeah, it's called, it's an ability called Cascade, which basically is when you play this card, which is basically when you play this card, you then get to, like, it uses exile, but I mean it's not necessarily exiling because they all come back afterwards. But it's basically look at the top cards of your deck until you reveal a card that would cost less than the card you're playing with Cascade, and then you get to play that card for free. Oh, as long as it's a permanent. It has to be a permanent. It has to be a non-land permanent. So you get to play that card for free without casting its mana cost or anything like that. But it has to be a less mana cost than the card you played out. And the fun thing is, I have what's called an enchantment, which is kind of it's like a permanent that basically permanents are cards that stay out on the battlefield. They don't like immediately get dissolved, like they don't immediately go to the graveyard when you play them. So like a creature would be a permanent. Yeah, you totally have one scan complete. But yeah, it's an enchantment that then the first spell, so basically the first card that's not a land that I play each turn, that gets the ability Cascade. So I can play like literally any card in my hand for like just choose the most expensive card in my hand to play it, and then basically get basically the next card from my deck out on the field, which is really fun. And it's like I normally don't have a way to, well, most cases I don't have a way to really know what it is. So it's just kind of, well, what card is coming out next? But by just playing cards in my hand. So that's kind of why I like it. It's just because it's a fun concept. And it really isn't that good of an EDH or Commander, I guess. It's not that good of a deck. It's decent. Like it can win games if it's like it works out. But it's actually, I tend to play against a lot of people with a lot faster of decks. So it's kind of, I never really get to play this out unless I'm playing some kind of multi-way. And even then, I barely even manage to get things out the way I want them to be, at least. So it's, like, it's fun, but it's just really slow, and that kind of messes up how much I can do with it. So that's like my only issue with it. My ninja's a bit faster. It depends on what cards I get, really, to see how fast it'll go. Oh wow, cross-combo for a weak attack. Oh, it worked out. Yeah, it's kind of, my ninja deck just depends on what I get in my hand at the time to determine whether or not. Let's see, am I going anywhere specific? I think over here. It just kind of depends. Is this the right way? I think so. It just depends on like what my hand looks like to determine whether or not it would be fast or slow. I guess it wouldn't necessarily be slow though. It's not necessarily a slow deck. No matter what, it's just more of a medium speed, I guess. Okay. She backs very slowly. And it also has a bunch of cards that are called like the bringer of blank Dawn, so like the blank would be the different colors. And they're really fun as well, because they have this stuff that really only works in a 5-color deck, but it's still like they're each just one color. But the thing is, they have a special effect that can be cast for. But like they have a special effect that instead of paying not 9 costs for them, which is not really something you ever want to pay for something. So at least not. I don't know. I guess they could still be good in other decks if you want to go that route, but it's not the best option, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, they're the bringers of like red, blue, green, black, white, Dawn. And so how they work better in a 5-color deck is you can cast them instead of using the 9 mana cost. You can cast them for 1 of each color mana, and that works out really well with my deck. And then they all have like 5 power, 5 toughness, which is kind of what they use to attack and defend you, attack your opponent and defend you. Those who don't know Magic that well. And then so they'll have 5/5, 5 toughness, 5 power, and they also have the ability to trample, which is kind of like piercing damage. So even when your opponent blocks something, they'll still like deal damage through if it kills that creature. But like it does damage to the difference in power and toughness. So like in Magic, you choose to just attack with a creature, and then your opponent can choose to block with something. Or they could just take it directly if they wanted to, not block with something. And so you can just have like a bunch of 1/1 creatures, 1 power, 1 toughness creatures out to just, and when your opponent attacks you, you can just like basically what you're doing is just sacrificing one of your 1/1 creatures to kind of like chump block this super powerful creature attacking you. But in most cases, unless there's trample, it would then just kill off your 1/1 creature, but not do any damage to you. But if this super tough creature has trample, then your 1/1 creature won't block you as well. It would just kind of be a waste to block with it, because then your creature will die and you'll still take all the rest of the damage. You'll only like lower it by 1. Lower the damage you'll take directly by 1. So what am I doing here? What did you make? I was gonna go put Toyagumon, throw on a Toyagumon into island here. Alright, anything else? Put a Patamon on the island. Sounds good. Alright, I think I'll just maybe feed the rest of them. Let's look at this though. Alright. So each of these bringers all have trample, but then they each have their own unique ability that's kind of based off of what the different colors like represent, like what I was talking about earlier, where each of them have a different ideology and concept of how they work. So each of these bringers. So each of these bringers would have as a different one. Like blue. Like blue's concept is more memory, and it's kind of like based on like memory and knowledge. So what blue allows you to do is, Bringer Blue allows you to do is you can then draw two extra cards each turn. So you then draw 3 cards total each turn. Is what that lets you do. So it gets you. Basically, your deck is known as your library, and so you get through you can then get more like knowledge from your library. Basically, is what these spells are, because you're then getting these knowledge of this from this library to cast these spells. It's kind of like what the point is. So blue basically gets you more of this knowledge by letting you draw 2 more cards. Then there's like Bringer Black, which will black